too often people want to separate us. People want to put us in collective groups. People want to pit us against each other. What we need to talk about is the unity that brings us here together tonight. And I challenge you that when you leave out of here tonight, that you go out and you find the fight that you need to fight, this ideological fight that we are engaged in the United States of America, and deliver that message to your friends. Deliver that message to the people that maybe just don't think like you do, but you need to be relentless in delivering that message. The thing that unites us all in these great United States of America is one word. And there was a great president that defined that one word for us. And there was another great president that brought it to us in the 20th century. Let me read you this quote. The world has never had a good definition of the word liberty, and the American people just now are much in want of one. We all declare for liberty, but in using the same word, we do not all mean the same thing. With some, the word liberty may mean for each man to do as he pleases with himself and the product of his labor, while with others the same word may mean for some men to do as they please with other men and the product of other men's labor. Here are two, not only different but incompatible things called by the same name, liberty. And it follows that each of the things is by the respective parties called by two different and incompatible names: liberty and tyranny. April the 18th, 1864, Baltimore, Maryland, Sanitation Fair, President Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president. If you study and you understand why this party was formulated in 1854, it was for one issue, and that was the issue to end slavery. It was started to bring liberty to people who did not know liberty. It was started so that the people that looked like me could understand the promise that Thomas Jefferson wrote about when he said that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, of these being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what liberty is. Liberty is not having to go and have someone else tell you where you can go. Liberty is not about going out and working hard and having someone else decide how much of your resources you can keep. Liberty is not about being born in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, and someone telling you there's only so far that you can go. See, in 1961, when I was born, Fort Lauderdale Beach, blacks could not go on Fort Lauderdale Beach. And 50 years later, in 2011, when I was sworn in as the congressional representative for Florida's 22nd Congressional District, it included Fort Lauderdale Beach. See, liberty says that every single person, whether you come here from other shores or whether you're born here, you have an equality of opportunity. But there are some people in these great United States of America that believe that latter definition of liberty. They believe that you have an equality of outcomes. And that is not what America is about. That is the difference between understanding that you have a pursuit of happiness instead of someone that believes that they can guarantee your happiness. And that's exactly what we hear saying out there on this ideological battlefield that we are standing on. When people are out there saying that you have a right to own a home, when people are out there saying you have a right to free health care, when people are out there saying that you have a right to free college education, that is not liberty. Because that is someone else determining what they can do for us and the product of who we are and our labor. All you need to do is have the policies to get out of the way and allow us, in whatever form, shape, or fashion we want, to be successful and have opportunity in our lives. And that is what this man that we recognize tonight, the 40th President of the United States of America, understood, Ronald Wilson Reagan, the true definition of what liberty is. Ronald Reagan, with the power of his ideas, was able to convince a Democratic House of Representatives, a Democrat Speaker of the House by the name of Tip O'Neill, a Democrat House Ways and Means Committee Chairman in charge of the tax code, that the best way to have economic growth in the United States of America is not that latter definition of what they thought was liberty, which is actually tyranny, but the first one. And that is why his tax reform package of 1986 was incredible with the economic growth that we saw come about. But yet, listen to what people are talking about today. And even we have people that have an R behind their name, but they are not thinking as an R according to the definition of liberty that Abraham Lincoln gave us. Because I want you to understand something. Being a progressive, being a socialist, that has nothing to do with the R and D after your name. It has everything to do with how you see the relationship between the individual and the institution of government. And if you cannot fathom, if you cannot understand that the United States of America was created with the individual having preeminence, that is why your inalienable rights do not come from man. They do not come from an institution. But all of a sudden there are people that have that relationship upside down. That they believe that the institution is above the individual. And when people believe that the institution is above the individual, then they believe in redistributing wealth. It is not about anyone sitting up and determining, oh, we're going to give a tax cut to this group, but that group is not going to get one. It should be something for every single American to determine what they can do with their lives. That's what liberty is. Us being able to do for ourselves and us being able to have and enjoy the products of our own labor. Not someone else making that decision. Liberty is about not nationalizing production, because if you want to nationalize production, if you want to bring more things up under the institution of government, I got a good deal for you. Catch a flight out of Fort Lauderdale, head south, and go to a place called Venezuela.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
And if you want to understand what happens when you go out and you attack and you demonize productivity, go talk to the people in Western Florida. What do they call it? Venezuela? What are the two flags you see out there? The American flag and the Venezuelan flag. Why? Because if you demonize productivity and subsidize inactivity, you're going to get more inactivity and you're going to get less productivity. And productivity is going to vote with their feet and they're going to go somewhere else. That's exactly what's happening in the United States of America between red states and blue states. I'm sure that probably could be exactly what's happening in Broward County when you have too many blue policies that are not spurring on economic growth. People are going to vote with their feet and they're going to go elsewhere. That's the difference between liberty and tyranny. And what we need the Broward County Republican Party to stand for is to understand what liberty truly is to go out and talk to people. Don't talk to them about becoming a Republican. Talk to them about voting their principles, their values, and challenge their ideology. You know, one of the things I love to do, because I get to travel a lot now, so I go through airports and you always get that person. You know that person? They look at you, they know who you are, and you can just see it in their head. Do I go up and say something to that rascal Alan West? Do I go up and tell him how much I hate him, I despise him? And I just like making eye contact. I'm waiting. It just happened in the Love Field when I flew out here. I'm standing here at the place trying to get a nice little thing of Chinese food. Because I wanted me some, orange chicken and some rice. And this guy comes up and tries to upset my apple cart. And I love it how they always come up. Well, Alan West, right? I said, yeah, that's me. He said, well, I don't always agree with everything you say. Well, what don't you agree with? Well, I don't know really. I said, well, what don't you agree with? I mean, tax reform, tax policy, healthcare policy, national security policy, oil and gas. What is it well, I really don't want to get into it right now. Well, I got some time. That's what my friend I got about 30 minutes. We can talk about some of these things. He said, well, I'm a liberal. I said, I'm a liberal too. And then he really freaked out. They're like, no, you're Alan West. You can't be a liberal. You're a mean, nasty, constitutional conservative thing. I said, well, let me tell you what liberalism is. I'm a classical liberal. I'm a liberal based upon John Locke. I'm a liberal that believes in individual rights and freedoms. I'm a liberal that believes in life, liberty, and property, which Thomas Jefferson converted into life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And then you got to see them running away, like O.J. Simpson going through the airport. They're just trying to break contact. That's what I want you to do. I want you to understand who you are and the fundamental principles and values of this great nation. I want you not to go out and say we're Republicans. I want you to talk about being a constitutional conservative. Because the problem we have in Washington, D.C. right now is that people with an R after their name are acting more like progressives because they believe in the institution and not the individual. A constitutional conservative believes in limited government. Because our Constitution is a restraining document on the federal government. The power goes to the state and individual. A constitutional conservative believes in fiscal responsibility. Because if the government is limited, the government is fiscally responsible, we don't have debt and deficits. A constitutional conservative believes in individual sovereignty. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Those are the rights that you have. Anything else that you want to be, go ahead and do that. You have the ability to do that. But as a Supreme Court justice once said, your right to throw a punch stops at someone else's nose. So every time someone's coming out and saying, you got this right, you got that right, that's not about them giving you more freedom. That's about them taking it away. Because I want you to understand, as a constitutional conservative, write this down, at least remember, free people are not equal, and an equal people are not free.